Bonjour, new moons. I am Josie the Mustang, the afro-latina, Regina George of Wishes. And you're aligned with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. And in today's episode, you might hear the wind. The wind is today's guest, and it is a very windy day. I record near a window. Most people who are creators that have to be on the mic would say never record near windows, but I do. And I'm not going to move. I need a little bit of daylight, especially because it is winter, and I am a true earth sign. I like to be able to see the trees. So you might be able to hear our special guest, the wind today. The trees are dancing, and I hope that you have your snacks. If you're at work, I hope that you are able to take a break and really absorb today's episode, because this is the last series of season 3. This is the second part of the moon method. So in part 2, what we're going to be doing now that you have selected what your goals are for the year. Remember, your year might be January 2026. Your year might be when your birthday is October, 11th. Your year might be, the first day of spring. It's up to you. Your year could begin Valentine's Day. You get to decide your year ahead and the start date. Okay. And so I am asking you to choose at least 3 goals for the year. In part 1, I went over how to choose those 3 goals and even how to execute them in a way that is easy, in a way that I myself do. It's one of my methods, but I want to talk to those of you who know exactly what your goals are for the year ahead. But the problem is you don't know where to start. Maybe my method in part 1 of every single month you do little things for that goal, maybe that doesn't work for you and you want to do something different. That's okay. We're going to go over all of that. So if you need to get your notebook, and my asthma is acting up, I can hear it. So let me back up on the microphone just a tad so I'm not breathing too hard on you. If you prefer to use your tablet, your laptop, your notes app in your phone, whatever, anything that you know that you're going to actually go back to and check, then go for it. But as I've told you many times, when you write it down, it causes some different type of magic. If I could explain it to you, I would, but I just know firsthand that it works. I have a manifestation journal, one of many that I've had in my life, and I write in it anytime anything special happens. It could be something as small as I got a free coupon for an appetizer. I write that in there to celebrate every single win, because something about that causes more and more of them to happen. So from the big ones to the small ones. And speaking of big ones, before I give you a moment to grab your things, grab your notebooks, your laptops, your tablets, etc., I also want to give I guess you could call it a shout out, but really just bring attention to Podcaston. Podcaston, and I'm going to spell it out for you, Podcasthon. And it is an organization that chooses a certain amount of podcasts per year to participate in it's a charity, so to speak. And I could just read to you what it's about. Let me see. Hold on. I'm on their website right now because I didn't want to forget how to spell it or how to say it. Okay. So let's click on this area, your questions area. Where did this idea come from? That's what I'm clicking on. But essentially, it's this initiative for podcasters to use our platform to spotlight a charity. I have not decided which charity yet that I will be choosing, but I did just want to announce to all of the Lua Nova listeners that Lua Nova was chosen as one of the podcasts that will be participating. So I agreed to participate, and I will likely be choosing an animal-related charity in honor of Hoshi. And I've gone over this 10 million times, but guys, I always have new listeners, so I have to go over certain things repeatedly. Hoshi was my Pomeranian, and he passed away in January. And if you're new, hold on. He was 16, so he didn't he got to live a longish life. But if you've ever loved animals the way I do, or you do love animals the way I do, you know that 16 years, that would have never been enough. But to honor his legacy and to continue to live my life manifesting everything I could ever dream of the way I told him I would, I am going to be putting Hoshi as the center of whichever charity I choose. There's a few, I just don't know which one. I might have to put them in a hat or something, because I really wish that I could give all of them a shout out, but we were asked to just pick one. But it is likely going to be an animal rescue that I'm going to be going with. There was a pit bull rescue that stood out to me, as well as just one for all types of animals and, domesticated animals. So I will likely be choosing one of those. I'm not sure yet. But if there's one in particular that you think that Lua Nova should mention, just send me the information, send the information to the team, go to the website. You'll hear the information for the website at the end of the show, and it's always in the show notes. So thank you again, Podcast On, for choosing Lua Nova. I can't begin to tell you how much that means to me, because this is what my platform is based on, is helping people. So that's why this podcast is free. Yes, I know I have Patreon and people pay for my tarot readings, but this is the actual part of it that is the most fun for me, is getting to sit in front of this microphone and hearing feedback about how I've helped other people. So, new moons, grab everything that you need and give me one moment. I need some water. Where is my Saratoga?
Lua Nova Codes of Manifestation. Códigos de manifestação Lua Nova.
Code 1221. Speak like a goddess over your own life, because words are spells. You might also hear my space heater in the background. And yes, I did take a quick drink of Saratoga sparkling water. I'm not being paid to mention their name. I've just said to you all many times, it is, when it comes to manifestation, they are the best that there is when it comes to using water for your manifestations. But there's a whole episode about that. Go back to it. I can't remember the name of it now. I think it's something about the magical elixir episode. I think it's that episode, which was this season. But let's get into your goals. Let's talk about it. Starting off with a question that I have for those of you who know what your goals are, but you never seem to know where to start, or you don't start, or you start and you stop. Okay? My question for you, and keep in mind that this is not a judgment. This is just something I want you to ask yourself. You can tell me your answer out loud, but I really want you to ask yourself this. Why am I avoiding this goal? Okay? Why are you avoiding your goal? Okay. By the way, feel free to write that down. If you didn't do anything with your goal this year, why would that be the case? Okay, one more time. If you did nothing with your goal or goals this year, why would that be the case? Why didn't you start? And if you're not really sure, I can give you some examples that I put in my notes here. The first one might be, well, I don't know where to start. Okay. Or I'm exhausted. Understandable. I feel very overwhelmed by my goals. Okay. Well, it just feels sort of like a very boring goal. And here are my responses for those. Because I don't see them as excuses. I see them as more of an understanding of where your head is at. Okay, so starting off with, and these examples are just that. If you say you don't know where to start messy. Start in the middle. Start on a Wednesday. Start in the middle of the summer. Start anywhere. Who told you that you couldn't? If you say that you're exhausted, understandable. What's the smallest version of that goal then? Is your goal to go to the gym? What if you only went one day a week? It's starting somewhere, right? Don't let somebody, some gym bro tell you that you can't start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, right? Well, it feels overwhelming. Can you break that goal in half? Is it possible to break it down into smaller parts? Okay. Or, well, it's just boring. Then is that really the right goal for you? Should you maybe eliminate that goal altogether or come back to it? Ask yourself why it's even a goal. I don't know. Okay. So that's the first part, because your avoidance is telling you exactly what needs adjusting. That alone, it's going to make your progress move in ways that the usual systems that people set up for goal setting, that they never seem to catch. So if we start off with the why, then we can actually figure out how to move forward. Okay. And again, if 3 goals, if that's too much for you and you just want to do 1 goal for your year ahead, then that's fine too. I asked you to choose 3 because when it comes to manifesting and spell work, 3 is an important number. But you choose whatever's best. You might have more than that. You might have, I don't recommend too many, but let's say maybe you have 5 goals. They don't all have to be massive. You don't have to say, well, Josie, at the end of 2026, I'm going to have a yacht, a hamster. I'm going to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. All of those things can happen. This is a manifestation podcast. I'm never going to tell you what can't happen because I've seen it. I've seen people manifest overnight. I myself have manifested. The very place that I'm in right now was manifested overnight. So, and it's probably the 3rd one that I've manifested. I've manifested cars in a month. There is no timeline because the universe doesn't understand time in the way that humans have created it. Okay. So I'm simply wondering why you might be avoiding the goal. But again, no judgment and no pressure. I just want you to ask yourself these questions. And again, that second question was, if I didn't do anything with this goal this year, why not? Okay. So, part 2. Every goal, why am I saying the word like that? Every goal gets 1 big, bold move per month. Every single one. So we're going to use the example of 3 goals. A big bold move is about shifting the energy, but not just your checklist, okay? So an example would be, I want to start my own business. Well, send an email. Send the email to somebody that might be able to help you with that. The next example. I would really like to go to Pilates, but I don't know where to begin. Well, ask somebody. Let's say that you know somebody who does Pilates. Ask them where they go. Do they have classes that fit your schedule? Where can I ask them? Hey, where can I find out some information about this? Next example. Let's say that you have said to yourself, I see that all these terrible podcasts out there, and I love Luanova, but it is one of the few podcasts that's actually talking about something meaningful. And I also want to talk about something meaningful. Okay, well, buy the microphone. Do you think that you need to start off with the most expensive equipment? If you're new to the show and you don't know this, I started off recording on an iPhone 13 with a software that is called Dolby On or Dolby One. I don't know. I don't have the phone right by me, but I do still have that phone. And, but that's how I started. So my sincerest apologies for how season 1 sounds and most of season 2. So I had to start somewhere, guys. Start somewhere. Buy the pink Amazon microphone that's $20. Again, not plugging Amazon. I'm just, saying maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe I should have said Amazon. But, wherever you buy microphones. Okay? But buy the thing. If you need a notebook, buy the notebook. If you said, you know what, I am going to become a Pilates princess. Okay. Buy a new workout outfit. And in fact, if you're not there yet, and you're like, well, I don't have the funds yet. You're a master manifester. Yes, you do. The money is always there. Money is just energy. It is there. If you need to take a moment, first of all, watch your wording. Words are spells. So instead of saying, I don't have it, well, I don't have the money for that. Oh, you don't? Well, you're right, because you just put that spell on yourself. Why not more like, it's coming. I'm going to put this goal here because it's coming. I'm the financial abundance that I need is always available. And I'm waiting on the universe to catch up to me. Get what I mean? Let's say that you are great at crafting. I love to craft personally. And you have decided that you are going to make candles. I don't know how to make candles, but I just threw that out there. Well, you need a workspace, don't you? Well, let's say that you've made some before and, you kind of have like a little makeshift space. Make it better. Clean up your space that you do have. Remember what I said about cleaning and clutter, and when it comes to the energy of that space, why it's important to keep your space intact. Because it helps you manifest further and faster. And your home and your workspace, it's important that they stay clutter free. It's important that they have the right energy because they are the root chakra, the physical embodiment of the root chakra. Our root chakra is where we feel safest. It is our foundation. It is our home base. And so let's say that you physically go into an office every day. Your office has to have a certain something. I'm not telling you to full on decorate it, but it needs to be clean and it needs to be clutter free if at all possible, in order for you to, let's say, get that promotion. Or you are the candle maker that I just gave an example of. That space needs to be clutter free in order to continue, because next thing you know, you are outselling Bath and Body Works. Okay? The next example. Trying a new approach. So, you have decided that you want to learn a new language. And you're like, well, Duolingo didn't work. It doesn't work for anybody, by the way. Well, I'm sure, actually, I take that back. Maybe it's worked for somebody. Or, I tried this app and it didn't work, but I want to learn Spanish. Okay. Try a new approach. I'm sure, you know a Spanish speaker. At least one, right? Ask them to speak Spanish to you. Make you learn. Okay, now you would think that I would be more fluent than I am. So maybe I'm not the best example, but I also haven't put it at the forefront. I'll be honest with you guys, as somebody where Brazilian Portuguese would be my second language, when people hear that you speak several languages, they seem to think that you speak them well. I don't speak any other language outside of English fluently. I speak it, and technically I'm considered fluent, but I would, in my opinion, be considered like the kindergarten version of Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese. Okay? But start somewhere and try different approaches. And that's for everything, any goal. The next example, the last example. Let's say it's just not for you. It is draining the life out of you. You decided that you're going to learn how to knit. But you're not really enjoying it. It's not for you. It seemed cool from the outside looking in. Love that. And it's okay that it's not for you. Acknowledge it. I am not somebody who will ever push you to quit. But if you have given it your all and it is just not, you're not enjoying yourself whatsoever, then it's not the right goal for you. And that's okay. And what I don't recommend before I get to part 3 of this is making certain steps in your life a goal. It can be a dream. They can be something that you know will happen, but they don't have to be met by a certain time. And what I mean by that, and I'm especially talking to my younger listeners, is marriage and buying a house or having a particular job or having a particular car by a certain age. Please learn from a young millennial. Okay? And hold on, let me find your name, sidebar, because this just reminded me of something, and You know how I am. I will randomly think of things. Hold on just a second. I want to give a shout out to this person. Let me find your name. Angelica where you at? North Carolina. Angelica in North Carolina, who said, are you sure you're a millennial? I thought you were younger. Well, here's the thing, and this is not to shade Angelica, because she did not mean anything negative by that. Gen Z, it's okay to age. It's okay. It's okay to grow up. I've never been somebody who's like, oh, I look 20. No, I'm aware that I look younger than my age, and it's just not a big deal. I oftentimes joke that likely it's, the witch's blood in me. You remember? I have witches on both sides of my family, so it's probably just witch's blood. But anyway, I am still a younger millennial, and I want to say to you that because of that, I have lived a little bit. Okay, now I am not Gen X or boomers that could give you even more advice about this, but I know a little bit. I've been married, and I had to be married by a certain time or before a certain time, and I regret that I felt that way. I regret that I would push myself as hard as I did to manifest from ego. I am a master manifester. I can manifest in my sleep, and I do. But I remember when I used to sell cars, all I cared about was the sale. And then I began to not even recognize who I was, because then it just became about, I gotta sell. I need to pay for this Cadillac and this new Louis Vuitton bag. And it was just surface level bullshit. And although I regret that that's how I used to see life, I understand now why it was necessary. Because although it is perfectly fine to have all of the luxuries of life, and I do still collect Louis, and I have beautiful cars, etc., they are no longer at the forefront. It is more like a reward, but it is not all. It doesn't make or break me. It is not what defines me. And being married by a certain age did not change anything. I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt more like I just checked a goal off of a list. And when I finally healed from all of that, and I remember starting over and buying one of the couches that I still have. I'm looking at it right now. I remember that felt bigger than anything else, because it wasn't about validation. It wasn't about making up for a childhood without much. It was about just feeling at peace on my own couch with Hoshi nearby, getting his Pomeranian fur everywhere. It was a peaceful feeling. And I actually have a picture of that day. And I smile when I look at that picture, because Hoshi in that picture is smiling so brightly. He is so excited. And that feels better than the first time I went to Louis Vuitton. That feels better than my brand new Cadillac that I had that I just wasn't even ready for. You know what I mean? So there is no such thing as you're not successful because by 21 you're not married and making more money than Jeff Bezos. There's no such thing. If that's what you want in your life, let it be from a place of healing. Let it be because, you know what? I am good. I don't have money issues. I don't have family trauma that is affecting me to the point of where it is coming out in my everyday life. I am healed, and I met this person at 20 and I'm ready to get married at 21. Let it be from that space. Okay. Or my company blew up because I'm outstanding at what I do and I just happen to be very young. All of that, you deserve all of the standing ovations for. Okay. All of it. But when it comes from ego, and it comes from, it has to be done by a certain time, you will never be satisfied. And I promise you, I'm not the first person that's ever going to tell you that. It's not because we don't want you to manifest. I obviously want you to manifest. That's kind of what I do for a living, is help other people manifest. But I don't want you to do it from ego or base it on some sort of a checklist. So if on your checklist you have getting married, getting engaged, I want you to think about why it's there. If on your checklist you have, I have to get this promotion by this time. Or what? And what if you didn't? What if you got it, I don't know, 2 months after the time frame you gave yourself? What if you found something better that makes you even more money? Whenever you close off your manifestations, the universe is like, well, I mean, you're not really, what are we supposed to do with this? We have something much bigger in mind. We have something better in mind. We want you to heal first. You know what I mean? So, that's what I'm referring to. So, part 3. Let's say that when it comes to this goal, you have decided, I am just going to vanish. Let's go with the most common one, the gym. If I vanish from the gym for a month, what part of this goal would fall apart? Okay. Or I decided to learn a new language. If I vanish from this class for a month, what part of this goal would fall apart? And the reason I want you to think about that is that it stops the cycle of focusing on just easy tasks and ignoring the actual issue of why you stopped going to the gym, why you stopped going to class, why you stopped showing up for yourself. Is it because maybe that goal wasn't that important? That's okay to admit. Is it because you had a better goal in mind? That's okay. Is it because you don't believe in yourself? That's not okay, but we're going to work on it. I want you to ask yourself that. And the last part of this, instead of planning tasks, I want you to decide how much energy that you're giving to each of these goals per day. For instance, let's say it's a low energy day for you. Just do something gentle and quick. I just used the example of the gym. You know, it's a low energy day, you know, for people that menstruate. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go to the gym for 20 minutes. Okay. Well, that's still checking off that goal, isn't it? It's a medium energy day. Okay. This is where you actually still are moving forward. You're moving forward with all of these, by the way, low energy, high energy, etc. The key word here is movement. And your goal was to go, I'm going to class today. I'm going to learn a new language. Okay. Well, maybe that on this medium energy day, instead of you practicing for an hour after, maybe you practice 10 minutes after class. Or maybe you just give yourself a quick quiz outside of the class. You know what I mean? So you decide the energy of that day. High energy. You got a lot done that day. You went to the gym. You went to your language class. You started crocheting. You did a lot in that day. You deserve a pat on the back. And either way, no matter what, there's no guilt. I'm not going to sit here and allow you to keep guilting yourself and keep bringing yourself down. I am somebody who is extremely critical of everything I do. I'm not hypercritical of other people, but I am hypercritical of myself. And for me, it will never be enough. I will never manifest enough, and I'm not referring to material things. I mean in general. There will never be enough for me. I could be at the peak of happiness, and I will still be like, yeah, but you know what I want to do now? See who else I can reach and make them happy too. That's how my brain works. And so I say all of that to say that what I don't allow is guilting myself into not reaching a goal by a certain time, or not doing it the way that I originally planned, or allowing the universe to help me in a way that I didn't expect. Those are areas where you are not going to guilt yourself. No guilt here. No failing, because you didn't fail. You're trying. I personally don't have an issue with the word trying when you're actually doing it. Because most of the time when those of you who you are moving forward somewhat, even if it's a small amount, and you say you're trying, you're not trying, you're doing. But I'll allow that word. Now, the last part of this, hold on, because I'm reading over my notes to see if there's any other part of this that I want to include. don't think that I'm good there. The last part of this is one more question I have for you. It's one that you can ask yourself every single day. And it is, did I create momentum today? Not perfection, not I checked off every single thing and I've achieved everything. Momentum. Every tiny shift counts. So did I create momentum today? Movement. Did I create movement today? Because that is important. Just like I said, low energy, high energy, you decide, because energy is important. You decide the frequency. Remember how I said everything has a frequency? And energy is everything? And even when you are no longer here in human form, that your energy will still persist because that's science. That's not just something I made up. So keep that in mind when you are setting these timelines on yourself of what has to be done by a certain time, that you are a human having a human experience, that you are on earth to learn, and that no one gets to decide the timeline of that for you. Okay? So, all right, new moons. Before I jump into your collective reading, I did just want to say something that I haven't mentioned because I've been kind of avoiding it. From time to time, I get sent things. I'm sure a lot of podcasters do. And if it comes from a large company that let's say I don't support, I'm not going to mention it on the show. And so I want to thank this company, but I'm not going to say their name. I was sent a tumbler, so kind of like similar to the Stanley Cups. It's pink, it has bows all over it, and originally I was debating on should I mention this because it was sent to me based on the Magic Lux Elixir episode. They said that they listened to it, they love the idea of using water for manifesting, and sent me a cup and my team. And I just can't, guys. I will not mention a company that I don't support. All right. If you are supporting genocide, Donald Trump, etc., then I'm not mentioning you here. If I mention you by chance, like when I mentioned Amazon, it's not because I'm endorsing them. It's because, when you think of needing something really quickly, most of you go to Amazon. You're not necessarily jumping in your car to go find a microphone somewhere. Some of you will, a lot of you won't, and that's okay. And so that's what I was thinking of. Not downplaying it, just saying, and it was not Amazon that sent me this cup, but I just wanted to put that out there because I was kind of uncomfortable and wasn't sure if I should even mention it. But if you work with a large company and you send something, just keep in mind their views and how I might feel about that on my show. Because one, I'm not getting paid to mention it. And even if I was, there's still certain companies I would never work with. There's not, as a master manifestor, I promise you I'll be able to manifest that money. I'll never need to sell my soul to do it. So, all right, Emos, let me grab my cards because I got to cleanse them. So one sec.
Lua Nova Collective Tarot Reading. By continuing to listen, you consent to having your cards read by Josie the Mustang. All collective readings are intended for a general audience and may or may not resonate with everyone. Visit luanovapodcast.net to book a personal tarot reading with Josie. Lua Nova Leitura Coletiva de Tarot. Ao continuar ouvindo, você consente que suas cartas sejam lidas por Josie the Mustang. Todas as leituras coletivas são destinadas a um público geral e podem ou não ressoar com todos. Visite luanovapodcast.net para agendar uma leitura de tarô pessoal com Josie.
All right, new moons, let's see what your message is for the week. Spirit, keep in mind that this message is for my new moons and only my new moons. And why am I stumbling over my words today? What is happening? I am not enunciating, but let's see what your message is. Spirit, you already threw out one card, which is the Ace of Pentacles. Can I get one more to clarify that card? Okay, this one. Oh shit. We got Pentacles energy. Love to see it. Okay. Money. Put the deck aside for a second. All right, new moons. Give me a second. And as I am doing that, take a deep breath in. Exhale the nonsense. And let's see. Starting off with the Ace of Pentacles. Taurus energy is what I'm picking up on. Because, Taurus loves a little bit of luxury. And I'm listening. I'm listening, Spirit. I don't have my candles on right now, but I'm listening. When was the last time you, Spirit, can you, one more time. When was the last time we what? Drove where? Drove to, Spirit, when was the last time we drove where? To see the sights? Well, I'm seeing flowers. So you mean like kind of like on this card? Like that? Like a garden type of a situation? Yeah. Okay. So, Spirit is asking those of you who don't mind doing this to take a drive. See the sights. Maybe you're visiting a new city, or maybe you don't get out enough, and I feel like Spirit's calling me out about that one too. Maybe I do need to take a little drive. There's not a lot of scenery currently, but I could take a little drive. So I'll take that to heart, Spirit. And what I need you all to do for me, as we are wrapping up the moon method today, is make a small money goal for yourself. It doesn't have to be part of the 3 goals that you're setting for the year ahead, although if you already have a money goal on there, feel free to skip this part. But if you don't, I want you to make a small goal for yourself, because the Ace of Pentacles is all about financial abundance. It's also about manifesting. So what that tells me is that Spirit is already pushing you forward and saying whatever your financial goal is, or your financial dream is, this will be the year ahead to do it. It is time for you to think about actually moving that plan forward, because your spirit guides are behind you 100%. They have seen you do the work to heal your financial wounds. And financial wounds can be something, and I'm going to talk more about this in season 4, can be more like, let's say you grew up in poverty. And so you hang on to every single dollar, or you have a really hard time spending. And when you do spend, you feel guilt. Those are financial wounds. And Spirit definitely wants you to focus on healing from that. It is time for you to think about new ventures, such as maybe you have never taken the time to do something just for you because you've always been concerned about the money. Maybe you always wanted to go to Disneyland, and for whatever reason, you just won't. It's not because you don't have the time off, and it's not even because you don't make enough to do it. It has a lot to do with you deciding to hold yourself back because, well, what about if I need this for a rainy day? Well, then you likely already have a rainy day fund. If you don't, I suggest making one. Make that one of your 3 goals, okay, for the year. And moving on to the end of this reading, because this one is a very straightforward reading. The King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles, coming right after the Ace of Pentacles, tells me that your financial goals will be the most important for the year ahead. It is important for you to get your finances in order because money is coming your way, but money does not stay when it does not feel welcome, when it feels afraid. Think of it as a skittish animal. Let's say that you see a sweet little kitten outside. We're going to call that kitten Money. And you want to, you know what? You just, hey, I don't want to necessarily adopt it, but I want to be friends with it. And, I'm going to leave out some treats, and it's definitely afraid of you because it doesn't feel warm and welcome. That's how money is. Think of money that way. The more I feel welcome, the less that you fear me, the more I'm going to start to come out of my shell a little bit. I'm going to get a little closer. Maybe I'll, you know how cats like to rub against your leg. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll sit next to you on, the steps here. Think of it that way. That's how money is. So you've got to let that fear go. If you have some debt that has been sitting for a while, get rid of that debt any way that you can. I don't care if you're like, Josie, I don't have much to put toward it. Put something toward it. Anything. Because that's how that money moves forward. It can't sit stagnant. If it's anything from student loans, because unfortunately, the United States doesn't care about our education. Or it's that, you have an old debt that it's not going anywhere on your credit and you know it. I want you to put something there. Put something toward it. Okay. Now I can get more into when it comes to debt and manifestation in season 4, because I think that will be its own series is, overcoming financial wounds. But I want you all who might have a bigger debt to focus on putting something toward it. $5 a month, $2 a month, anything. But money cannot stay stagnant when you want to manifest it. And what I see for you, again, Ace of Pentacles, King of Pentacles energy. Think of Taurus. Taurus likes a life of luxury. They like the best of everything. And in order for that to happen, can your money just sit stagnant? In order for that to happen, do you just have a debt that's just sitting there? Earlier when I said I was staring at my couch, I bought that couch outright because I don't believe in putting things like furniture on, what is it? Why can't I think, getting it like on a loan, you know what I mean? Why couldn't I think of the words? Whenever I buy furniture, I just buy it. I'm not going to, I was going to say lease it, but I'm not going to make payments on it. In other words, I'm buying it right out. And let's say that that's your situation. You owe, I don't know, $1,000 still on your bedroom. I want you to put as much away as you can for that, because what the universe sees is you actually making the effort. Remember, the universe only responds to energy. It does not respond to the kind of person you are. It does not respond to a look at what a sweet angel I am and how I'm doing everything right. That's not how the universe works. The universe is based on energy and only energy. And therefore, when it sees an energy of money moving forward in any way, whether it doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1 million, because when it comes to the energy of money, it is all the same. It is important for you to keep moving forward. So if that's all you have is, hey, I only got $2 I could put back a month, it's better than nothing, isn't it? Now, is it going to take you longer? Absolutely. Set up a payment plan, whatever it is. But I felt like I needed to point out to those of you who have a debt, because I feel, as somebody who constantly speaks to spirits and picks up on energy, that this is a debt that you could get rid of, but that for whatever reason you just haven't. I don't know why. Because if it was based on you just not having it, then I would be feeling like, oh, let me pull back on saying that, because I don't think that, who I'm speaking to, I don't think they have it. No, I think that you do. I think that you are a lot more capable than you give yourself credit for, because the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, that's not a coincidence. Not at all. So new moons, big King of Pentacles energy. And this week alone, I want you to start. Put back $1. How long can you hold on to that $1 without spending it? How long? I'm just wondering. Not to just sit in silence, but I was just wondering. I wanted to ask you that. All right. What? Okay, sorry, I was reading something. Oh, we got a text from Spirit. And this week's text from Spirit says, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Oh, wait, that one, because it's falling out. It says, and what? What is happening? Sorry, all of the deck started to fall out of my hand. 2222, angelic blessings. The angels are sending their blessings of love to surround you. Know that you are loved and protected, and that the angels are supporting you in all your love-related endeavors. What? Somebody getting engaged? I feel like somebody is, first of all, I can already tell you because I saw the number 5. As soon as I said that, somebody's getting engaged on the 5th. I love that. I love that. Today, by the way, as I'm recording this, you will be hearing this on Monday, is December the 10th. So all I saw was the number 5 and a calendar, but I didn't see the month. So you are getting engaged on the 5th. Congratulations. Ooh, I love that. That was a good feeling. Brigada new moons for aligning with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. And before we go, I did just want to give a shout out to the following people. Thank you to those of you who have left messages just saying that, who have emailed me and just saying that this is a holiday bonus for you. This is an extra bonus for a reading that I had with you this year. Thank you to all of you who have sent, funds via Venmo and Cash App. Remember, you don't have to do that, but sharing my show is how you can also support the show for free. But I want to give a shout out to the following people. Mona in North Carolina, L'Oreal in Delaware, Hank, who is in Arkansas, Daphne, who is in Georgia, Jared in Kansas, the initials OM, and you are in Alabama, Patricia in Oklahoma, Cassie in Pennsylvania, Renee in California, Nico in California, and Brittany, who is also out of California, Shauna in Louisiana, Tori in Georgia, Noah in Colorado, Dante in Texas, AJ in Texas, Seth, where are you at, Seth? Pennsylvania, and there's one more of you. Hold on, I'm scrolling. Gina, who is also out of Texas. Thank you so much, listeners. Hold on. Oh, there's one more. Sorry, Tamika in Louisiana. Thank you so much, listeners. I appreciate you. Just know that any information that you need, such as the Lua Nova website, all of that you're about to hear about, and it's also in the show notes. Remember, Court of the New Moon, the spinoff of Lua Nova, will begin in season 4, and most of that episode has been recorded. But again, find all this information in the show notes. I think I already talked about Court of the New Moon in the bonus episode that you would have already heard by now, so I won't go over all of that again. I will talk to you next week, New Moons. Ciao, ciao. To book a personal tarot reading with me, submit your question for the 6th House Virgo segment, and your question just might be read right here on the show, or read the full disclaimer on spiritual consent and listener responsibility. Visit luanovapodcast.net. To submit a case for Court of the New Moon, go to courtofthenewmoon.com. If you would like to become a Patreon member, download the Patreon app or go to patreon.com/the Lua Nova podcast. Support is also appreciated, so I want to thank you for those of you who always send in donations, and you can do so via Venmo or Cash App. The Venmo username is @LuaNova. The Cash App username is $Lua Nova Podcast. Copyright 2025 Lua Nova. All rights reserved.